Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this year's edition of Collider, where the main topic of the Collider is Enhanced Connections for Sustainable Futures, where we are looking at categories for people, nature, and economy. First, a few words about Collider EuroTeQ itself. Why are we doing this? What is the context? You may have heard of this, that CTU is part of the EuroTeQ Alliance, which is a collaboration European of 8 technical universities, which you can see here in the picture. So it's obviously Czech Technical University, Technical University of Munich, École Polytechnique in Paris, Eindhoven University of Technology, Danish Technical University, TalTech, HEC in Paris, EPFL in Lausanne, and Technion in Israel, and additional partners, EA's Business School. Within this alliance, there are 2 main activities which are oriented towards you, the students. One thing is the course catalog. You may have already heard about it. The course catalog makes it possible for you as students to follow any course or topic that's being offered by the partner universities. And you will get automatically the credits if you fulfill these courses. But what we are here for today and in the upcoming 9 days for the Collider is the second event, the second activity, which is called Collider. In Collider, you're going to work on challenges which are offered by companies. You will work in multidisciplinary teams, ideally about 5-6 people from multiple faculties together, and you will try to solve these challenges that are offered by the companies. This Collider activity is running on all the partner universities of the EuroTeQ Alliance. And this one that is running here at CTU will start today with this presentation of the challenges. So as you can see, it will run over 9 days. Today we start with the presentations, then the upcoming weekend, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, will be the first orientation, and then you will have 1 week to work on the challenges themselves. At the moment we have about 49 registered students from all faculties together, as you can see here. We can also welcome 2 students from Panská Technical Lyceum, which is, I think, a very nice combination of having learners from many different schools together in this Collider. And as I said, teams of about 5 students from 3 faculties to work together on 1 challenge. And we have 7 challenges provided by the companies this year. So we will try to get at least 1 team for each challenge. There will be a couple of more people, let's say, left, and they can form then additional teams for a challenge. But let's first try to get 1 team per challenge formed. We will use Microsoft Teams for communication. This has already happened. All of the people who are registered via COS are also active in Teams. Each team will, when we have formed them, they will get their own challenge channel so that you can communicate within your team. And what we usually do is that we will appoint 1 person of the team who will be like the regular contact between the team and us, and especially between the team and the company that provides the challenge. But of course, you are free to use any other communication medium that you see fit to organize your work. Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and whatnot. You are not alone during these days that you will be working on these challenges. There are 5 tutors who will assist you throughout these periods. Here am I at the last place. There is also Zuzana Pešková, Jana Bielková, Daniela Ilnerová, and Lukáš Horný. As you can see, in reality, they look much nicer than on the pictures that we have over here. Yeah, when you ever have any questions, always feel free to reach out via Teams and, of course, during the consultation periods that we have. So what does the schedule look like for this year? So today we have the challenge presentations, where we are here now together in this location. In the afternoon, for those who have time and possibility, we will go to Risovna. This is where you can work throughout the whole Collider period. It's not obligatory, but it's available. Yeah, so in the Risovna, you can work anytime throughout this period on the challenges. But if you think another location works much better, it's completely up to you. You are free to do so. However, we have established certain hours when at least one of us will be present in Risovna. So if you have questions for consultation, then we are there. You see the schedule over here. And there are a couple of really important points that you should take into account already. So tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, in the weekend, will be the first orientation on the challenges so that you get to know, okay, what are we going to work on? Also, of course, to get to know your team that you are working in. And so especially on Sunday afternoon, we would like to get in touch with you and see if you all have a clear picture what you want to do in your team and how to organize your work, and if you are going to visit the company, etc., etc. Then you will have a week which is, let's say, relatively unplanned. There is no Collider activity, but in that week, of course, you can do some research, you can get required information, data, and if it is possible, then you can also visit the firms. And then, of course, starts the real hard work, the marathon of Collider from Monday the 17th until Sunday the 23rd, in which you really have to work on creating the solutions for your challenges. Again, there are 3 very important points through this week. On Monday, of course, we will check, okay, what did you do in the past week? Do you have some results? Are you in the right direction? On Wednesday, we will have midterm presentations so that we can see what is the current state of all your work that you have done so far, and we can give you feedback, again, if you are working in the right direction. And on Saturday, there will be general repetition of all the presentations, because on Monday, the following Monday, will be the final presentations. We will be back here again in this room, where you will present the final results of all your work that you did during Collider. So, as said, where will Collider take place? We have reserved a room called Risovna, which is actually in the very same building where we are right now. So it's just a couple of floors up in this direction. And this place is at your disposal throughout the period of Collider. It's a very nice room. It has lots of place. You can organize the space as you like. Of course, clean it up after you're done on that day. There is Wi-Fi. If you have EduRoam, then that should work without any problems. Data projector for the presentations. There's also a small kitchenette, so you can cook some water and stuff like that. I think there is also a microwave. So yeah, everything basically is there to work. So as said, for those who can make it, let's meet there at 1 o'clock, and we will see what teams are already formed, and if we can make the next teams. But in all cases, the final teams, we will form them tomorrow on Saturday, so that we really know where are the final teams that are going to work on the challenges. So what is the result of Collider? It can be any solution for the challenge that you have been working on. So it can be a design, it can be a program, it can be a model, a simulation, an animation, a prototype, or some presentation of your solution. If you successfully complete it, you will get 5 credits. And we will select 3 best projects. And these 3 best projects and their teams, they will continue to the so-called EuroTeqathon. At the EuroTeqathon, all 3 best teams of all the partner universities will come together and they will present their work. And again, at the end of that EuroTeqathon, 3 best teams will be selected as the overall winners of the EuroTeQ Collider of this year. And then there is also one team which is going to be selected that can take part in the EuroTeQ bootcamp. And the bootcamp will take place in Barcelona. And the bootcamp is really focused on giving training in the area of entrepreneurship. So a team that is really very much focused on ready to market, to develop their idea, maybe in a startup or something similar, or working closer together with the company that provided the challenge, then they will get this additional training in the EuroTeQ bootcamp. We will talk more about this at the end after the final presentations. Of course, we can't do Collider if we don't have challenges, and we are really very happy that we can offer 7 very widely varying challenges for the Collider this year. And for that, I, of course, have to thank very, very much all the firms that are investing their time and energy and the people in formulating these challenges and also offering consultation throughout this period. So I want to thank Sandra Namialo and Dieter Drotlev. Sandra Namialo is from Tukule, Dieter Drotlev from Pixida. Then Lucia Matjowska, Martin Liskovets from Pre, Radka Ticha, Milan Bittner and Wojciech Ticha from Asahi, Plzensky, prazdroj. And Magdalena Veit, Klara Malčička and Josef Kovarzik from Capexus, and Anthony Stalker and Daniel Garcia from Suse. A couple of you are here present, so you can see them here when they are presenting their challenges. A number of them will be online. So we will start first with 3 presentations, first by Pixida and then by Tukule. These will be online, then we will have a short break, and after that we will have the next presentations from Asahi, Pre, Capexus and Suse. So with that, thank you very much for your attention, and we can give the word to the people who are online. And we start with Pixida with Dieter Drotlev.
So, thank you very much, Mr. Achten, and also thanks a lot for the opportunity to collaborate with CTU within this platform. So we are really looking forward to that. So, my name is Dieter Drotlev. I'm together in the call with Johanna Lenhoff. She will introduce herself later. I'm working at Pixida as key account manager in the fields of academics. And the topic that we basically defined is bridging borders, sustainable knowledge sharing for global impact. In order to understand the challenge, it's of course essential to also understand our company setup. And that's the reason why I will basically guide you through the next slide. Yeah. Okay, so the Pixida group is basically a group of a couple of companies which is really focusing on high-tech industry and cutting-edge technology, and we are really focusing on business growth and digital transformation in general. Everything started with Pixida as a GmbH in Munich. So that's where also the headquarters is and where also Johanna and me are located. And Pixida is offering engineering services. So this is important to understand that the Pixida group is offering on the one side engineering services on the for customers. And you can imagine it as our colleagues working for customers in the field of software development, software testing, system integration, project management, and also product management. Just to give a couple of examples. And this is basically where we started in and where we also are still working in. But we spread our locations to also Brazil, US, China, and Portugal. So we are an international group. That's important to understand. Within Germany, we have also 2 other subsidiaries, which are called Kinematics. This is the newest member in our family, and they are really focusing on highly specialized kinematic solutions, for example, for cars, but could be also for different products. PyLabs has been founded in 2015, and this is now important to understand because they are basically with PyLabs, we basically develop our own products. So we are not working in customer projects, but we are developing our own products and selling our own products to customers. And just to give you two examples, there's one product which is called Fleet Key. It is an IoT gateway that really gives an added value, especially for bus fleets in terms of logistic, because it can collect a lot of bus data and transfer it to the cloud. This is one example, and the other example is our safety beacon, which we sell. Also, we develop everything. It's being used in cars, and we sell it to car insurance companies so that they can adapt its tariffs to their customers. For both products, we offer everything from end to end. I talked already about our locations. In the black box, you can see some hard facts about us. There's no need to further dive into that. Talking about about customers, you can see that the automotive industry is where we started in, and it's still important for us. But since 2008, we have really diversified into different domains. So, just to give an example, that the public sector has become also very important for us. As I mentioned already, the insurance brands, but for example, also the one or the other military project. At the bottom line, you can see a selection of our customers. We are also a certified partner of AWS because we are applying that in our back-end projects. So summed up, you can see that we are a very international company, an international group, and with colleagues from 30 different nationalities. So it's also a very multicultural setup that is really appreciated by our colleagues. And this is basically also what has made us successful. But beside of the chances, there are, of course, also challenges. And this is exactly where the actual topic that we wanted to present gets relevant. Now I would like to hand over to Johanna Lenhoff.
Thank you, Dieter.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hi, everyone, also from my side. My name is Johanna Lenhoff, and I'm working at Pixida as a junior manager. Today, I have the honor of presenting our challenge for the EuroTeQ Collider 2025. What you see on this slide is basically the same text as as in our one-pager that you probably already received in advance or will receive afterwards. So don't worry, you don't have to read it now, as I'm going to explain it. In today's interconnected world, knowledge sharing is essential to solving global challenges. However, cultural, linguistic, and technological barriers often limit collaboration, and they also limit the free flow of knowledge and innovative solutions. To make it more concrete, these barriers also hinder progress on critical issues, such as achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So our challenge is clear. How can we enable seamless knowledge exchange across cultures, languages, and industries to accelerate global progress on the SDGs? And that is where you come in a first step. The first step is to understand the which solutions are currently used for sharing knowledge about the progress on SDGs and to identify bottlenecks. And then in a second step, to propose solutions or even design a platform or system that break down the mentioned barriers in knowledge sharing. Just as a concrete example, if we have one country that managed to become climate neutral, how can we accelerate other countries to become climate neutral as well? what could a knowledge sharing solution look like that enables cross-border collaboration and enables the exchange of ideas without limitations, and is a solution that is also scalable. By leveraging technology, we can overcome language differences, cultural communication styles, and varying levels of digital infrastructure. So, now already coming to an end, I would like to share our contact details with you in the next slide. So if you are ready to take on our challenge, we would be very happy to hear from you next week. Here's how you can contact us. And this leaves us with some more minutes for questions. So in case you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Johanna and Dieter. Sustainable development goals are, of course, a super ambitious project, very important, and as you say, very complex, and it has to be solved throughout, let's say, the worldwide. So there are indeed many bottlenecks to solve. Are there questions from you regarding this challenge? Would you like to know a bit more? If not, then this probably means that your challenge presentation was completely perfect. Thank you very much. I know that already some people have expressed interest in this challenge, so let's see that we can make a team for this. I think it will be very exciting indeed. If there are no more questions, then thank you very much, Johanna and Dieter, for your presentation. You are, of course, free to hang on online. And we will now continue with the next presentation by Sandra from Tukule for the Agro-Waste Carboniser and temperature-controlled packaging. So, Sandra, you have the word.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Namiano Sandra. I am a co-founder and a partner at Tukule Foundation. I'm joining in with my colleague, who's called Mr. George Mukuru. Tukule Foundation is a foundation based in Uganda currently, with the partnership with Technical University of Munich. It was birthed out of a consortium of university engagements that are geared towards sustainable energy and entrepreneurship development. So the foundation's mandate is to leverage student-based research for sustainable socio-economic development in different communities in the Global South. Currently, we are working with a community in Uganda that is a group of women that are making biomass to energy different solutions. Currently, they are focusing on briquettes, that's densified fuels. So that's where we are currently focusing, but we are definitely going to move into other spheres, as you might notice from the different challenges that we are proposing. So I'll get right into the challenge. So the first challenge that we are proposing is design of an agro-waste carbonizer. So an agro-waste carbonizer is basically for lack of it, I'll call it a tool or a machine that you use to combust agro-waste to be able to generate biochar. So the baseline of this is Uganda's energy mix is 88% biomass based, but we are doing our best to move towards sustainable solutions for energy generation, and that's where we have about 60% of the communities moving towards using briquettes. The challenge we have, however, is the current carbonizers, which are the ones that make biochar. The biochar is then densified to make the briquettes. The challenge that we have right now is the carbonizers work at about 12% efficiency, 10 to 12%, in the sense that if you can put in 1 ton of agro-waste, you get maybe 200 kgs, and it takes about a whole night to be able to achieve that. So currently, most of the briquette producers are moving back to using charcoal and charcoal dust. Charcoal dust involves clearing forests and facilitating deforestation, which is counterproductive to the entire mandate for clean energy. So the challenge that we have is to use agro-waste, which is coming from markets. In Uganda, we have over 20 markets in major cities countrywide, and these ones house about 3,000 farmers and agro sellers. So they produce about 1 ton of waste each day. So we need to, the opportunity that we have is to turn this agro-waste into biochar. And then from the biochar, we can distribute to the briquette producers and then be able to facilitate a clean supply chain. So the key things that are critical to take note of for this challenge, one, agro-waste has a very high moisture content. So the design will require consideration of how to reduce that, of course, factoring in an efficiency. The target is 25% practical. The reason for the word practical is about 5 years ago, a university from Germany partnered with another host university within Uganda to design our a carbonizer that had about 25% efficiency, but with tests on ground, there were few areas that needed to be adapted to be able to meet the needs. So that could be another starting point as we how we can study the original design and see how to improve. So then we have to design considering minimum time for carbonization, because currently you carbonize for a whole day, which is not satisfactory in terms of supply. Of course, market waste requires sorting, the same way you generate waste at home that you have to sort. But now imagine you had 1 ton of waste to sort. That would be quite something. So as we design, we have to factor in these different things such that we are looking at a sustainable solution. So we have to factor in optimization. What I find very interesting about this challenge is the fact that it grants you the opportunity to be able to design something that can be used by communities at a small scale. It feeds into decentralized energy generation, because ideally we'd be looking at setting up a whole plant, but we want to be able to enable small communities, small homes to be able to carbonize their own waste and generate their own energy. So it factors into that arena as well. So you will need knowledge and skills in the area of human-centered design. That's basically you'll be able to understand the communities that you're working with, and you'll be able to design something that works for them. Then thermodynamics, biomass to energy conversion, and computer-aided design and simulation, depending on the design that you come up with. I put some pictures just to show you the state. So above is the agro-waste that is currently produced. That might not be very clear, but it's quite a lot. And then below is the carbonizer that is existent on the market right now. As you can see, it produces a lot of smoke. It's not very user-friendly sustainably. So that is the challenge that we have for the agro-waste carbonizer. I'll move on to the second challenge. The second challenge that we have is designing temperature-controlled packaging solutions for sustainable food supply chain. So what we have right now, again, this is best from Uganda, but this is not a challenge that affects only Uganda. It's in my perspective, it's generally a challenge that's everywhere. In the sense that we produce, you find that somebody has a farm that generates about maybe 3 tons per 3 days of fresh produce. That's on a large scale. You might find someone that has maybe 200 kilograms or so. And between transition from their farm to the market, you get a lot of damage. So currently, we have about 40% of fresh produce that goes to waste due to inefficient logistics, in the sense that you collect your produce, and then you put it in like boxes, like for example the boxes that I've shown there. But long term, and especially if we're looking at large scale farming, that is not sustainable because you get a lot of it destroyed and wasted on the way. So the challenge is for us to come up with working together to come up with a packaging solution that would be able to facilitate motion of the fresh produce for over 1 hour and a half. Stacked in a truck in different. So right now we're looking at boxes So the challenge here is for you to understand how packaging works, the different materials that you can design that facilitate cooling without investing energy. So the solutions that are there currently, you have a van that's maybe solar powered with fridges so that you can pack all your produce. That is perfect. However, it is not affordable for small communities, which is our target market. So the challenge is for us to find different packaging solutions that are affordable but facilitate and minimize wastage for produce. So target we move from like maybe 40% on a general country scale to maybe 10% or 0% would be the ideal. But in engineering, we know that that might not be fully achievable. So we need to factor in packaging and cooling properties. There are different ways that we can explore on how you can design the material of the packaging to be able to actually cool on its own without investing any energy. Affordability is critical. Ease of access of the raw material for us to be able to generate the boxes or the packaging that you come up with. Then, like I mentioned, the average trip to farm to market is about an hour and a half. So focus skills, we need human-centered design, again, critical thermodynamics, packaging, and organic food preservation. So this will task someone to go deeper into understanding the different temperature requirements for particular produce. So we might not necessarily look at all produce at the same time because the requirements are different, but we might have to investigate maybe for tomatoes or for different produce as we discussed. So that is basically it. That's the general requirement. Yes, so we'll be the target that we have is ultimately when we finish the different solutions that we come up with, we are going to implement them in the different communities, partnering with TU Empower Africa. TU Empower Africa is an NGO that is based in Technical University of Munich. And so that would cater for the Carboniser and also Mr. George Mukuru, who is representing Linton Box Packaging. So we'll be working together for the implementation stage. But of course, in the challenge, we'll be working directly with me and consulting as and when need arises. So thank you very much. I realize I did not put my contact details. I should have done that. But they are available upon request. Mr. Achten has them, so we can move from there. Thank you. In case you have any questions, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for presenting your both challenges. You were very fast and time efficient. Let's first talk about the agro-waste carbonizer. Deforestation is, of course, a very important problem that we have to solve. Are there any questions about this challenge? People who are interested to take this challenge? I see no raised hands. Yes. Let's wait for the microphone so that it is easy to hear for everybody.
Will there be opportunities to interview the companies or groups or people that produce the charcoal briquettes? Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, that can definitely be arranged. Definitely, yes.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, so the second topic was the packaging solutions for the food supply. Are there any questions about this challenge? Okay, I see no raised hands or very puzzled faces. Then I think that was also very clear. Thank you very much, Sandra, for presenting your challenges. So now we will have a short break, and then we will continue with the presentation of the next challenges. So Dieter, Sandra, Johanna, thank you very much for presenting your challenges up to now. You can stay online, of course. It's not really necessary if you don't have the time. And so now we will have a short break, and we will continue in 15 minutes or something like that. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, back to your seats. Let's go to the second round of presentations. And it's my pleasure to introduce Wojciech Cicha from Asahi, Plzensky prazdroj, who is going to present the challenge for their company. So please, you have the word.
Thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's nice to hear a lot of young faces here. My name is Wojciech Cicha. I am from Plzensky prazdroj. Especially, I am head of energetics department in Velké Popovice brewery. Well, let me start with a brief introduction of our company. I believe you all are familiar with our company, but just for being sure, we have 4 breweries in the Czech or Europe, Central Europe region. It's Plzeň brewery, Nošovice brewery, Velké Popovice brewery, and at Slovakia it's Šariš brewery. We are part of the Asahi Europe and international company. We are in 8 countries in Europe. We have 19 breweries in Europe. Our employees, 10,000 plus employees, and we create 44 million hectoliters per year. And there are some global brands. Also, Plzeňský prazdroj is the biggest producer of the beer in Czech Republic, and there were some awards which we have received. The first one is 3rd place in Employer's Choice for students in 22, and 2nd place as a top employer for students in 25. And also we have equal salary certificate. Yeah, I would like to also inform you that we are proudly working with students. We are providing internships, which has unique project assignments. It's a real job, and it's fully manageable with the school. We are really flexible, and all talents in our programs have the opportunity to lead their projects, shine and glow. And now for the part why we are here. In Plzeňský prazdroj, we also are really focusing on sustainable development. We have decades behind us of improving ourselves in terms of savings energy and water. And one of the challenges which we are facing, I will be presenting for you today. So there is a wastewater treatment plant near Velké Popovice brewery, and this plant has two stages of cleaning. First one is anaerobic part, and second one is aerobic. But today we will be talking about anaerobic part. Basically, how does the anaerobic cleaning works? We mechanically clean the water, and then we pump it into the reactor, which is filled with the thermophilic microorganisms, and they are using the energy from the wastewater, and they are creating CO2 and biogas or biomethane. These organisms are thermophilic, as I mentioned, and the reason for the problem is that to be able to sustain their good habitat, we need to warm up the water in the reactor. So basically, inlet water of the wastewater is around 15 to 20 degrees, but the requirement for the organisms to grow is about 25 degrees. So currently, we are using all biogas which is produced there to heat up the water. There are some data of wastewater treatment plant. Basically, it's wastewater treatment plant is for brewery and nearby villages. It's one of the biggest in central Bohemia region. And now the important data, the COD load is 35,000 from the capacity, which is 44,000, and the volume load is 550,000 cubic meters per year, and the capacity is 970. So on this number, you can see that the amount of the water which needs to be heated up is humongous, and the consumption of the biogas is quite high to do this. Also, there is a photovoltaic plant which has something around 130 kilowatt peaks. And the main thing is that the brewery is around 1.5 kilometer. That the plant is 1.5 kilometers from the brewery, which means that all we are producing there is quite hard to reach from the brewery. So, what are the challenges? The challenge is it's visible on the chart below. Basically, during the winter, when the wastewater is colder, we use all the biogas to heat up the water. But during the summer, when the temperatures of the wastewater a little bit rise, there is a huge surplus of biogas. Biogas has high content of methane, which is around 85%. It also has high sulfate content, which is around 3,000 grams per cubic meter. And the surplus which we are talking about is around 90,000 of cubic meters, which is, let's say, 1/3 of total production of the biogas. Also, we are expecting that the production or surplus of the biogas can be increased by 30%, but nobody didn't look into it so far because there is no reason to do it. Because already there is a surplus which we don't know what to do with. And that's your challenge. The challenge is think about it, think about it and find out what to do with this huge surplus, considering all other information I provided, and come up with some solution. So, if you will choose our project, I will be happy to meet you in the brewery and also in the wastewater treatment plant next week. And basically, the output of your work should be to come up with an economical solution for biogas surplus and ecological use of it. Output, basically, as I mentioned, we spent a decade of thinking about it, so there are no limitations, only the physical one. I think everybody who would like to join this project needs to think outside of the box, and how to come up to the project is to think as a project manager that receive this task, and in the presentation you should be clear what does the solution consist, what resources will be necessary to realize it, what are the steps to turn this into the reality, and also how this work will be used on a regular basis. As I mentioned already, we are prepared to provide some of our time to discuss it and to show you more. I will be here today until the end of the presentations. So please feel free to come to me and discuss it. And also there are the colleagues of mine, or you will meet them in the brewery if you decide to choose our project. Well, that's it. Thank you for your attention and nazdari. So, we have plenty of time, so are there any questions? Oh, okay. I think you have to wait for the mic.
As I heard, you guys do have a biogas surplus. So what are you doing about it right now?
Right now, it's burned on torch because you are not allowed to put it into the air freely, and you have to burn it to the CO2 and some residues. So basically, the project will save now 90,000 of cubic meters of gas, which is, if somebody is familiar how big is consumption of your house, for example, it's a huge amount. So the problem is quite big.
So are there any other questions? If not, then thank you very much for your presentation.
You are welcome.
The next presentation will be online from Pre. It will be done by Martin Liskovets. Okay, because we were running a little bit ahead of schedule, and they have some organized meetings at their company, so he's probably counting with a later time slot for the presentation. So we will switch the program a little bit and ask Capexus to give their presentation. It's my pleasure to welcome here Jozef Kovařík, who is going to explain the challenge from Capexus. Thank you very much, and you have the word.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'll wait for the presentation. Yeah, it was quick. Okay, thank you. So my name is Jozef Kovařík. I work at a company called Capexus as a technical designer, and not that long time ago I was sitting right there as a participant of this challenge, so I'm happy that Collider is still going strong and that you are all here. So first thing first, I would like to introduce you to our company because you may not be familiar with it. It's called Capexus, and we are a member of a group called Chess ESCO. We have heard of Chess, I guess. And our main focus are offices. It's over half of our business, but we also do the interiors of healthcare centers, residential objects, retail centers, sports centers, and hotels. We have over 500, I hope, satisfied clients, and we have built more than 700,000 square meters of projects so far. We are on the market this June for 14 years, and we have over 100 specialists and many departments. So that means that our approach is very complex. First, we do something that's called workspace consultancy, where we sit down with the client and talk to him about his needs, about his expectations. Sometimes we try to manage those expectations, tell him what is real, what's not so real. And then we do something that's called cost management, which is really important for the client for him to evaluate how much he can pay for something. And then when all of this is done, we do the architecture, the beauty part, and then comes technical design, where we design how the walls are actually going to be built, where the technology is going to be, how much cooling we need, how much power we need. Then we do the construction works, the actual building part, and last but not least, there's an interior furnishing. This challenge we are going to talk about today is mostly going to be about the technical design, construction works, and a little bit of architecture. I would like to show you some of our work, what we've done, how beautiful things we can make. First one is headquarters of MOL company. All of you know MOL, when you have to pay for the gas. So those are the headquarters we designed. They are in a building, River Corner, which is, by the way, the same building. We also have our offices. Next one, my personal favorite, is Portos. I like this one because the design is very clear. It's really, really nice interior to be in. There's a lot of green stuff, greenery, and other things. Another river corner project. This one is a reception, which has actually won the award Recepce 2023. And the trickiest part, in my opinion, was the big reception desk you can see, which is actually one big piece of stone. So this was a bit tricky, a bit costly, yeah. And last but not least, companies of direct. I want to show you this one because it's first reason is that it's huge. It's almost 3,000 square meters. And the second reason is that it's in a building called Port 7, which was built by Skanska. And this building complies with standards PRIM and WELL, which are sometimes a little bit more difficult to stay with. So yeah. But now let's talk about the challenge. The challenge is called Wasteless Office, and you should address construction waste. Why should we address it? Well, there are two reasons. One is straightforward. There's just a lot of it. Construction sites are one of the biggest pollution producers globally. And the second reason is that the waste there usually gets handled in a very inefficient way. There are laws regarding how the construction waste should be dealt with, but the workers do not always stick to them. So we want to make less waste and avoid this part. Also, when this waste gets loaded away from the construction site, it just goes into landfills, into incinerators, which is not a really clean way to deal with it. So that's why we want you to address this problem. And just some quick information from interior works. The waste is usually consisted from plasterboard, glass, and usually some kind of steel. So yeah, as I told you, the solution is your task is to design a solution to minimize waste in interior constructions. There are many ways to approach this problem, so feel free to use any of them that is going to be efficient in the end. We also welcome solutions for the, let's say, the living part of the office's life cycle. So some solutions that could save water, that could save energy for heating, that could save electricity for lighting. Feel free to do that. One very important point, your solution has to be feasible. When you design something that saves like 100% of the waste, but no one pays for it because it's so expensive, it's not going to be, let's say, livable. No one's gonna make it. So I would like to take that into account. And yeah, I hope some of you will accept our challenge. We came up with some ideas. Feel free to use them, but don't feel bounded by using them. We think that better planning by using artificial intelligence could be a way to do that. Or you can use some kind of take-back programs where people actually buy back the used materials and use them for their own purposes for, let's say, cheaper price than the new materials would cost. Some modular systems, so you actually create no waste at all. That would be nice. Alternative materials that gets turned into waste but can be digested by nature really easily. So in the end, you don't create any waste. Or some metal cutting procedures that save metal on doing pipes and pumps. So those are just some ideas. So once again, my name is Josef Kovařík. You can contact me on this email address and we can schedule some appointment, and I'm looking forward to your ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know some people have expressed interest to work on this challenge, so maybe you already have questions. Yes, there is a question.
Hello. I have one question about, are we supposed to design the construction process, or in the end, like the whole office?
It's really up to you. The main scope of the challenge is to minimize waste in any way possible. So if you design new office which uses no material which gets turned into waste, feel free to do that. But if you come up with some bright new idea, we are also welcoming that. And yeah.
Yeah, of course, the problem is so big and so complex that it's very unlikely that you will solve the whole problem. Huh? So even if you can come up with a solution that reduces waste by 1%, it's a gigantic amount of things that you are saving. Huh? So don't try to be too ambitious. But as was said, it has to be economically feasible. And I think any small step that we can take will be very, very welcome.
Exactly.
Are there any other questions? I guess not. Thank you very much for your presentation. And we will ask if Martin Liskovets of PRE is already online. Martin, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Perfect. Good morning. So now we will go to the next presentation by Martin Liskovets from PRE. Martin, you have the floor.
Okay, so may I use the screen?
Yes, please.
So can you see the presentation and can you hear me?
Yes, yes, 2 times.
Okay, good morning. First, I would like to introduce myself and say a few words about prazdroj. So my name is Martin Liskovets and my profession is specialist in strategic asset management department. And today I would like to present you a challenge from prazdroj. But first, who is behind this challenge? Prazdroj, which is part of the Pražská Energetika group. We own and operate the distribution network in the capital city of Prague. Our facilities include power stations and cables at 3 voltage levels. Overall, we have over 800,000 low voltage customers, over 2,000 customers at medium voltage, and 4 customers at high voltage. Our mission is to provide a reliable and safe supply of electricity. So, to put this challenge into context, today we face higher demands on the distribution network than in the past, both from renewable sources and from customer consumption requirements, such as electromobility and heat pumps. So this opens the door to new solutions for network design, for example, through artificial intelligence. So, and now some words about smart grid. It's a modern network solution also for integrating renewable sources. In the picture on the right, we can see a city with wind turbines and photovoltaics on the roof and a wooden pole in the street. So that it's probably not very good solution in the real world either, but it's of course an image generated by AI with a very simple prompt. But in reality, we have cables underground and wind and photovoltaics power plant in the form of very unstable active power and voltage. So you know that wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. So it is what it is. And that brings us to the challenge itself. So in the first step, it's appropriate to find a suitable AI tool for data processing. Typically, it's clustering and machine learning. So you can search for all available solutions on the internet. In the second step, I will give you the data from smart electricity meters, from individual consumers, producers, and prosumers. Prosumers are both consumers and producers of energy. It's a typical house with photovoltaics and battery systems. These data will be 15-minute energy intervals on which you will train your prediction model. In the third step, you create a load forecast for a given street, which we have already measured, and compare it with our model inputs. So we can also focus on creating various future scenarios. So if I had to summarize it, if you would like to participate in this challenge, first, do research on AI solutions, and then we could meet next week and I would give you the data to work with. So you have my contact in the presentation, and otherwise I'm based in the office at IP Pavlova here in Prague. So if you have any question, feel free to ask me.
Thank you very much, Martin, for your presentation. We have students who already expressed interest to work on your challenge, so that's great. And I see a question.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Let's wait for the microphone.
Thank you so much for an interesting challenge. And we were already discussing with the potential team on working on this project. So we have a question. Does this model has to be somehow limited by the inference time? So has the inference time of the model be like super fast, or what is the real life application of where this model will be used in the future, so we can somehow already understand what type of architecture we should use, what type of infrastructure we should prepare for this model. So should it be like super fast, or like what do you expect us to create in terms of the model specifications?
Yes, thank you for the question. That's completely on you.
Okay. Okay, so well, the more general question then, where this model will be used later? So will be it used only internally in PRE, or will be it also like accessible for users to see, for example, what is the predictable load in my block, I don't know, in like the next day or was the day before, something like that. So we can also like, I don't know, think in this direction.
Yes, it's first of all, it will be only intern application for us, and maybe we can discuss it more, and we will see you.
Okay, thank you.
If there is not another question, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I think that indeed were all the questions that we had. So thanks a lot. Then we get to the last challenge, which is by Suse. But no one is online from Suse. So maybe if you can show the challenge that they produced. And let's reverse it a little bit. Because I know there are two people who already expressed interest to work on the SUSE challenge, Eleonora Wierig and Conlen Ma. Are you here? Yeah? Then come over here and explain why you want to work on this challenge, please. And maybe you can attract more people for your team. Because I'm an architect, I can read out what is here written on the challenge, but I have no idea what I will be talking about. And I think you guys, since you chose this challenge, you know about it, at least more than I do. So let's do it in this way. And yeah, why did you choose this challenge? Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I chose it because I want to work in the field of cybersecurity, and this challenge is the most suitable for me.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I'm in a pretty similar place. I also want to go into cybersecurity and IT and all that. But what generally attracts me about Linux projects in general is, for those of you that don't know, Linux is open source, and therefore anyone in the world has access to the source code, can change it, can compile it, make their own thing. And that freedom and availability really attracts me. So some things are not always open source, but I like that idea of making things available to the public for free.
That sounds very exciting. And I know there are many people from the Faculty of Information Technology registered for Collider this year. So that must ring a bell with you. Does that raise like questions, interest to work on this challenge? But just like, okay, I'm here. Okay, it's great that you are here. Anyone else who wants to know a bit more about this? You know that there are already 2 great team members whom you can join in your team.
The project is really interesting, believe us.
So, yeah, okay. You see the challenge presented over here. As I said, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to read it out loud, but I think it's definitely an interesting one. Even I am an architect, so I cannot really judge that. But it will be sure interesting to work with you 2 guys on this challenge. So feel free to reach out to Conlon and Eleonora to see if you can form a team. And with that, I think we will close the presentation of the challenges for today. So as we said, first of all, thank you everybody, people from the companies who were online and present here to present the challenges. Let's give them all a big round of applause. And thank you, of course, you, the students, to register for Collider this year. Some teams have already been created. We will now continue, of course, creating teams for the challenges. So as said, let's meet at 1 o'clock in Rysovna. Then you know where the place is, where we are going to work. Don't worry if you don't have the time or the occasion to do that today. We will start officially tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll make the final teams for all the challenges that are offered. A couple of people of the challenge owners are still here, so feel free to contact them after we round up right now. And at 1 o'clock we will meet at Rysovna. Thank you very much also for the great team that organized the meeting for today. Annette Claudis, Veronika Hansson, Libusje Petržilkova, and Marcela Dedorkova, and Mr. Jan Slama and his perfect team who does all the technical support and the recording for today. So with that, thank you very much for being here right now, and let's see some really exciting results for Collider for this year. Thank you.